Hey everybody, Don Georgievich here with Job Interview Tools. Today I want to talk to you about the critical elements that need to be in your follow-up letter or your thank you letter, the letter that you send to an employer after you've had an interview with them. So if you want to know more about that, go ahead, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and we'll dive right in. So for starters, I received a letter from one of my subscribers, and she wrote in, she's like, hey Don, I had an interview, and I know you said it's really important to go ahead and send a follow-up letter, but in my interview, I called the hiring manager by the wrong name. Should I apologize in my thank you letter? Now, so a really good question. So before I answer that, let's talk about what should be in a thank you letter. Now, a thank you letter is just something that you send to an employer after you've had an interview. They're thank you letters or follow-up letters, call them whatever you want. But it's a letter that you send to an employer that thanks them for their time. So the important things that need to be in there are, first of all, a thank you. Hey, Mr. Employer, thank you very much for meeting me and discussing this senior programming position. Something like that. Simple introduction. You're referencing the interview. The next thing you want to do is you want to restate your qualifications. Say, I think, because I'm a really seasoned programmer, I'd be really good at this development job. Then you might want to try to link back to the interview, something that you guys talked about in the interview as a reference point. Maybe, they talked about a certain project that they're working on, and you might say, hey, about that project, I think, I have some really good ideas for you on how you can solve it. Whatever, something to tie your conversation, your letter, back to the interview. What that does is that makes them remember you more. Then you're going to wrap your letter up and you're going to simply say, based on my experience, my qualifications, I think I'd be really good at this. Sincerely, Don Georgievich. That's all that needs to be in your thank you letter. It's simple, it's short, it's sweet. You don't want to write a whole big long paragraph because they're not going to read it. You want your letter to get read. And hiring managers are busy people. So if you send them a big fat long letter, they're just going to skim through it. But if you send them a very specific letter, you thank them for their time, you cite something in the interview that makes them remember you, a project or whatever, and then you restate your experience and you say, hey, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. That's what needs to be in there. Now, if you noticed, nothing in there says anything about making an apology. So back to what I said earlier when I received a subscriber comment saying, hey, Don, I called the manager by the wrong name. Should I say I'm sorry in the letter? I say absolutely not. I mean, I'm sure that when she called him by the wrong name in the interview that she said, oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean that. Enough said. Or even if she didn't, even if she was just calling him Joe and his name was Tom throughout the whole interview, I would not bring that kind of a thing up in a thank you letter. Because if you think about it, I mean, all you're really doing is calling attention to a mistake that you made. And when you're trying to get a job, I think the last thing that you want to do is to call attention to all of your mistakes. It just doesn't make any sense. You want to focus on the positive, not the negative. I mean, sure, it's polite, to say I'm sorry and stuff, but in the thank you letter, I don't think that's the place at all. Now, so what other kind of things can you say in a thank you letter? Nothing that's negative, nothing where you're apologizing for yourself, you're apologizing for your inability, you're apologizing for a lack of, nothing. A thank you letter is very, very positive all the way through. And like I said, it's just a simple, thank you for your time. Here's my experience. I'm really good at this, blah, blah, blah. I look forward to seeing you or meeting you again, or discussing this position with you, whatever you want to say. So now to drill into that a little bit more, exactly what do you say? Well, I tell you, I have a whole book on that, and it's called Perfect Thank You Letters. This book has over 100 different letters in it. But before you go ahead and buy this book and you think it's right for you, I actually have a thank you letter template. I have 3 of my best thank you letters that you can download for free. So you don't even have to buy the book unless unless you like the 3 letters and you want more, like, hey, this is good stuff. I want more letters. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link in this video right below that you can click on. Well, actually, you won't be able to click on the link in the video, but just follow the link. It'll take you to a page where you can download 3 of my best thank you letters. You can read them through, and you'll see that there's nothing in there where we talk about, apologizing. It's all very, very positive stuff. And it's positive stuff to get your employer to remember you. Because you got to remember, when you're in a job interview and you're interviewing, they might be interviewing 10 other people or more. So when you follow up after the interview, you want to separate yourself from that competition. You want to make a connection with that hiring manager. And a thank you letter is a great opportunity to do that. If you don't send it, you're probably going to be forgotten. And I'll tell you this, sometimes hiring managers, they forget. They lose your resume, they lose your contact information, and they're like, oh, I really like that Don guy, but I can't remember. I lost his resume, I can't remember his name. So poof, you just instantly, fall out of all thought. So a thank you letter is a way to remind your employer that you are still interested in the position, and that you want to talk to them more about it. Because if you think about it, oftentimes you might go in for an interview, and let's say you're the first candidate, and let's say after 30 days, the employer has gotten through all of their other interviews. They might have forgot about you. They might even think that you're not interested anymore because a month has gone by and you're such an awesome person that you probably already got another job. Or maybe in the interview that maybe they didn't feel that you were all that interested in the position. A thank you letter is a beautiful, brilliant, and just subtle way to remind an employer that, hey, I'm still interested. And I like that job. I like what you guys are doing. And I'd like to participate in those projects. And I'm really attracted to where your company is going, and I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of your vision. I want to be a part of your journey. So that's what a thank you letter does. It's a gentle reminder that you're still interested. You want to work there. And, forget all those other people. They probably don't really want the job as bad as you do. And that's what that thank you letter does. It's that way of self-expression to just take that one extra step, communicate your inner desire that you want this job and you want it bad, and you can do it better than anyone else. And it's okay to be personal in a thank you letter. It doesn't have to be real businessy and, just state facts after and put bullet points. Don't put bullet points in your thank you letter. But you don't want to have a bullet pointed style thank you letter that's just drilling in point after point after point. You should hire me because. Now, thank you letter is a much softer approach. You're just kind of reaching out and you're saying, hey, I'm still interested. I'd like to work here. That's all. So like I said, I'm going to put a link to the template, the three thank you letter template below this video, and go ahead and click on that, download those letters, and just take a look at them, get a feel for how they're written, how they're worded, and then adapt them to your own situation, and you will have the perfect thank you letter. That's all I got for you today. Good luck on your next interview, and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.